Just remembered that I have a coffee maker, a French press. Well, I remember volunteering for this. There are some aspects of the CIA which are benevolent. Some people in there who are good people, you know. You know, I was programmed to be a mass shooting enthusiast. I was also programmed to be unable to access social services such as like an EBT card. You know, or you know, get compensation for my post-traumatic stress disorder. I was also programmed to do dangerous and illegal things, which would lead to me getting convicted of a misdemeanor. You see, out of a sense of mercy, I shot in the head this cat that had become feral. It was wasting away with feline HIV. It didn't have what is called. It didn't have mange or anything, which is especially pitiable. But this cat looked like it was at death's door, and I just thought it would die of exposure one night. But evidently, it tucked itself away into the insulation, you know, under the building, and I mean, it would move in and eat the food that I had set out for these three little black kittens. So it was a white cat, and so, you know, with the 22 rifle and a subsonic load, which is very, very quiet. It's not as loud as a BB gun, about as loud as a BB gun. Shot through its head. You know, and it said, you know, as it froze and looked at me, it told me, you don't have to do this. You don't have to do this. I can just keep going the way I am, and what will happen to me will happen to me. It was like I was doing a friend of mine a favor, a friend from a past life or something, but I don't know. I don't know. I tried to feed that cat. I tried to help it out, but I have limited resources. Or I thought I did. I thought I did. The neighbor saw the body flopping around. That happens. It's nerves. You know, the cat was dead. It's death stance, it's called. You know, people do that too. Interestingly, you read accounts of war. They do that. They'll flop around. Antelopes do that. They kick. They go 20 feet up. You know, come down in the heat. Come bounce around like a grasshopper. You know. So I don't say all these things. I mean, I was programmed to say all these things, these disturbing things, so that you won't listen to what I have to say. That's another thing. But I'm just trying to inform you about science, you know, about just genuine phenomena, you know, genuine phenomena. So anyway, grab the cat up by the scruff of its neck, naturally, put it into this contractor's trash bag, the thick kind, the kind that you would use to transport body parts out, from a bathroom, Yeah, there again. So anyway, I was programmed. Then I took it through, put it, punched a hole in its belly, put in a rock, threw it out into the river, because otherwise it would end up floating. So food for the crawfish, Poor cat, poor cat. That somebody had left to starve because, they had been forced into, they were forced into some economically desperate situation. So that's life, I guess, but I'd been programmed to do that. Because I had poached deer before. I lived on the edge of this city, and I'd poached a deer one time in a similar way, So they knew that about me while interviewing me while under the influence of, while I was in this alter ego, and they programmed me to shift into this alter ego. There are actually two alter egos that I know about. One was intensely masculine, the other was very feminine. I don't know about intensely, but so, and that's all. Those are useful, Frankensteinian creations, essentially. Right. So, basically, yes. I mean, I was even told by this one deplorable asshole, a fellow sergeant, he told me, I don't know, he played little games, he started up a chainsaw. We were clearing some land and stuff, and started up a chainsaw. He came after, he acted like he was going to come after me with that. Like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Because they thought, the consensus opinion was that I thought I was really tough, because I could grapple, all these people. I could best people at grappling and all this kind of stuff. And I practiced, martial arts, doing this real extreme style and extreme techniques and stuff. And so yes, evidently, I thought I was better than everybody, but this pride is what has kept me alive, This pride and sort of competition with myself more than anything, It's kept me alive at the same time. I mean, that has hindered me, It's made me unlikable. So, anyway, but he even told me they were going to program me, Yeah, they're going to program you this weekend, and, they're going to do this. And I didn't fully know that I was under mind control at the time. So they can't do that. They can't do that. Oh, yes, they can. Oh, yes, they can. Later, I imagined his house burning down one day, and I saw the flames and heard them, and I don't know, I don't know. Anyway, I mean, bad things await people who engage in this kind of stuff, This black magic witchcraft. It's all, it's all simple stuff. It's stuff that's been done for thousands of years in actual fact. You can look up all these legends and histories and yeah, I mean, people had astounding techniques and technologies and so on that they were using in a clandestine, covert manner. So anyway, I mean, they programmed me to self-destruct so that I would be forced to go back to Camp Pendleton and be utilized further. Possibly, possibly they may be able to trust me with more, more of the story and so on. But it is a terrible thing. The thing is, they don't care about how many. They didn't care. For example, I mean, we got into 9/11. I mean, we orchestrated events to ensure that happened. You can go back, watch my other videos, to get the inside story on that. Um, the thing is, I mean, they don't care about a bunch of people in finance, high finance, thousands of people dying. They don't care. They don't care about and they're willing to sacrifice a bunch of people in the Pentagon as well. This was conspiracies are never grand. It's always, I mean, it's always just a handful of of real smart individuals who know how to manipulate people. They know how to manipulate groupthink perceptions. They know what motivates people. This is it, and everybody goes along for the ride because it just seems to fit, and people accept an explanation without too much of analysis, as long as it's semi-plausible, as long as it fits in with their preconceived notions. This is you can read many different papers on these psychological and sociological mechanisms that allow this to work. It's very, very simple. But very few people have to be really have to know the truth about what happened with a black operation. So 9/11 was entirely orchestrated by elements of the CIA. Plain and simple, from start to finish. Osama bin Laden was a CIA asset. He never stopped being one. His family was afforded certain accommodations after the event. They're all allowed, they're flown out, of course, and all, It's all just a story. The world runs on rumors. You know that? I could just be telling you a story. Maybe it's part of some kind of psyop to destabilize the United States. Oh, I could be a foreign agent and not even know it. The truth is, I could be a foreign agent and not even know it. That is the reality of the world you live in. When you got hypnotic drugs, out there that have been around forever, these preparations, utilized by witches, shamans, and so on, that for the longest time, just common evil, low down people, whatever, Mind-controlled agents are a reality that we've been living with. They're, I was one. I think that the programming is broken down quite a bit, and yes, they try to influence me with microwave emitters, and the cell phone towers emit microwaves. Your smartphone emits microwaves. I mean, the app that was used, the app that was used to inflict this terrible pain up, like barbed wire being ripped through my rectum. That was done with a cell phone app that was given out to these young gang stalkers who were evidently working for gift cards. Businesses, can be their cooperation can be ensured. Their motives. If somebody thinks that you're hurting business in the area, or you're inhibiting investment, it's just part of these kind of deals are done via the common secret societies like the Masons, or the Rosicrucians, or whatever. It's just networks of people, So anyway, I was on this bus. I was on this bus one time. They did this to me multiple times. They were running this frequency set on me quite a bit. So I was on this Bolt bus, and they began. I noticed that some people were, they seemed that they may have been, talking to me. They were certainly talking about me. They were looking at me, and evidently, one was, she was using her smartphone, and she said, "See, when I squirmed, and they were behind me when I squirmed. See, this So, yeah, well, you know, yeah, but I don't believe in, yeah, but I don't believe in witchcraft. This other person said, you know. You know, this stuff, I mean, it's just quantum mechanics. You know, you got to research that. You know, it is real. Particles, you know, particles taken from the same source, you know, though spread apart, will be reacting the same way when you influence one from a distance. I mean, this is done, I mean, how does a radio work, for example? You know? It has to have the same exact crystal. They grow these quartz crystals exactly the same. It's made exactly, each one is made exactly the same way, and it's the, what is that mechanism? It's the part of the crystal that adjusts the frequency. It's just a simple mechanism they worked out a long time ago. We could look at one. We could look at a radio. I'll show you. Just a minute. We could look at a radio. I'll show you. We could look at a radio. I'll show you. We could look at a radio. I'll show you. I did manage to make a touch of money sharpening shears and clipper blades today. Should keep gas in the tank anyhow. So anyway, I gotta try to stay out of starfuckers, and if I do go in there to use the Wi-Fi, you know, I think, you know, their food is okay. It did not affect me. There's no nanotech in there. Yeah, you know, I wanted to test. I went into different places, and along the way I thought, well, maybe it's a localized phenomenon, but no, it's there's some kind of nanotech treatment there. They're getting paid a little something extra to do this stuff, to select people, you know. It's just there's just some kind of one part of a binary chemical system, or nanotech. Maybe it's just nanotech, you know. And then the frequency waves from the cell phone towers, you know, they trigger it. So yeah, it is interesting, you know. It is interesting. So, you know, I feel like maybe I'm being manipulated. So it seems I've been isolated again. You cannot post a comment, at least a visible comment, on my video. It will not reach me. Please try anyway. Please try anyway, and let me know what the view count is. Also, I learned you cannot like or dislike my video. I've seen that before quite a number of times, but you cannot like or dislike my video. It's not the settings. I'm allowing likes and dislikes and comments and everything. I don't care what if people want to troll me, hey, that's fine. That's totally fine. You know, people should, you know, analyze that stuff and learn to have some discernment about what's real and what isn't. Who's genuine, who's a fucking, I don't know, maybe a paid shill, or just a whatever, you know. Just guarding some delusional part of themselves, you know. So, yeah, I've had my view counts wildly fluctuate, and a lot of other people talk about that.
I don't know. You know, somebody wants to classify my material here. And another thing that keeps happening is, happened more recently is... Uh-huh.
Hey, you doing all right, man?
Yep.
You hungry or thirsty or anything?
Yeah, I could eat. Thank you, man. I really appreciate it, brother. You take care. All right. So anyway, MIP 67. Okay.
Oh, they wouldn't do that. I've known just nothing but nice people my whole life. They wouldn't do that. I've known nothing but nice people my whole life.
This is what it's like. Like you're manhunted. All right, well, I won't.
You're gonna have to leave me alone.
Okay, I will.
I appreciate it.
All right,
This is freaking me out.
you're not on camera. I'm a documentarian. You're not on camera. You're just talking to me. What about these Google apps?
Get anyone in trouble or get myself killed either.
This is not gonna.
I don't
What about
care.
these? What's the name of this Google app that with the facial recognition and all that,
It's
to where
just
they can
Google.
get.
It's any application. Anybody can do
I know it's
according to everything that I've read.
Oh, how do you tag somebody?
I don't know.
Have you ever anybody shown you how to tag somebody and then use this for stalking somebody? And I'm just saying. I mean, you're evidently been victimized by this
Oh,
stuff.
I'm not victimized. I mean, it's recent and we have to figure out how to handle it. Hold it for closure.
Well, you're not
Ride
handling
it
it
out long
though.
enough, huh? How do you know?
You're continuing
How
to
do you
be
know?
victimized.
Who are you?
What? Well,
How
you
would
told
know?
me your story
You,
about how they're.
You need to go away, because
Okay, I'm not. I'm just trying to. Well, it's just a good luck charm. It'll have to hang there. Not sure that Juniper can survive here. So, since getting into LA, I've been isolated from the network. Even my phone, I mean, it's hacked. So I don't know. Their network doesn't show up. I mean, their wireless network doesn't show up. They give me the password, that doesn't. I mean, I look for it, and it's not there. Please help me. If you see me, please help me. I'm currently in Hollywood. This is where I may die. If you don't help me. I'm looking for a place to stay. I can pay on the first of the month. I've got a guaranteed source of income, and I can pay on the first of the month. We can work something out. Really just a place to store my stuff for now, if that's all you have, you know. A couch to sleep on, just I'll be a very polite guest. I'm an excellent cook. I'm very neat and orderly. You know, let me help you.